Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is another friend is dying. Well, I got a lot of talk about death and bad things, even though this is supposed to be a Happier Man YouTube channel and a Happier Man website after all. So how does the dying fit into all of this? Well, it doesn't really, other than reminding you and me that we don't have that much time left. And if you want to enjoy your life, you better get busy in the doing of it. So I'll take a step back. Another friend. I was just up having fun with a bunch of friends last weekend, and we were joking around, having a few drinks. Those guys were up golfing. I went up to meet with them later to enjoy the golf for dinner and socialize in the evening. And we started off the evening good. We're having fun, having a few drinks, talking smart. And then the one friend pulls me aside and says, "Well, it's not all good news." And he showed me this big long text message from one of his friend's wife talking about the friend that's dying. This is let's say a good friend of his. And so when I got together with that friend, a lot of times that other friend would be there, right? So it's not like the friend who's dying isn't like one of my close friends. He's a friend of a friend, but whenever I saw him, I enjoyed him. I've seen him on and off for the last, I'd say, almost 25 years. I've been enjoying him, maybe even a little bit longer. Very nice guy, very, very fun-loving, cool guy. So anyway, the friend shows me the text from the guy's wife, talking about where things are at. The guy had kidney cancer in the kidneys, and the cancer is spread, and then it's called what they call the stage 4 cancer. So just as a quick thing about cancer, when it's stage 1, that means it's the least worst. The initial stages are stage 1, and then as it goes up in numbers from 2 to 3 to 4, 4 is worse than 3, 3 is worse than 2. So you get the idea. When you're at stage 4 cancer, that's not good. That usually means the cancer has spread out from where it originated from into other places, and the more it spreads, the harder it is to deal with. It's going to be difficult to do anything about it at that point. So anyway, stage 4 cancer, it's what I would call it a death sentence, right? Your time on this earth realm is limited. So yeah, for that friend, that's bad news. Now, I will say that it didn't surprise me at all to hear that he had cancer, because guys like him and the way he lived his life, guys like that don't live that long. He was very, very, very overweight, had terrible eating habits, had terrible drinking habits, chewed tobacco and smoked, and drank a lot of alcohol and mixed his alcohol with extremely unhealthy soda, a lot of chips, a lot of French fries, a lot of hydrogenated whatever, right? Did not exercise, sedentary work, a lot of driving back and forth a long way all the time to get to work, and not an active work job anymore. A little bit activer when he was younger. And to top it all off, he had a terrible marriage. So everything was working against this fellow, and when everything works against you, usually it's going to manifest in something bad, and the something bad is the cancer. But what can we learn from all of that? Well, you don't want to be so darn overweight. You can be a little overweight, but it's better to work that down. It's better not to put any chewing tobacco in your mouth. Better not to smoke. It's okay to drink, but not so much. Not every day. Not every day. To you drinkers, and when you do drink, don't have so darn much soda with it. Soda of whatever type isn't good for you. Don't matter what they say about it. Doesn't matter what Diet Coke says about itself. It's not good for you. Now, I like to drink it once in a while, but let's say it's a vice in extreme moderation. So anyway, yeah, and he had that bad marriage. I think the marriage, when you have a bad marriage, that makes everything worse. Because then you think there's no hope for you. There's really no reason to live that long, because it just, being with a person you don't want to live with sucks. So I just finished that book, you know, how to leave your wife and become a happier man with the 3-step system last year. And he didn't buy it. He didn't get a chance to read it now before his dying days. So if you've got a bad marriage, you might want to get that. A bad marriage won't help you. And I don't really want to get into all the reasons his marriage is bad. I just know that I know that he wasn't pleased being with his wife, and I think it was a struggle and an ordeal. And I think if your marriage is a struggle and an ordeal, you got to get out. You know, maybe if it's a struggle and ordeal for you as the man, it's probably just as much for her. And you might want to split up, be a man and split up and deal with the consequences and try to make your life better if you can. There's no guarantee, of course, but it is guaranteed that if you're in a bad marriage, it is guaranteed that your life is going to continue to stay bad. So we know this, right? It's very common. So anyway, getting back to the friend dying, yeah, that's another reminder call to you to do some living. Another reminder call to you to, if you've got some real bad things going on in your life, some real bad habits, some real bad relationships, you're going to have to make some changes. If you're in a bad marriage, get out. If you're not exercising at all, start. If you've got terrible, terrible eating and drinking habits, make some positive changes. And I know this is hard. I know it's hard to go totally a great diet. Look at me, you know, I'm overweight, but I'm working on it. I haven't given up. I'm happier. I left a bad marriage. I've changed jobs. I keep making changes. All the things I talk about, I've done, and I'm happier for it. You can do it too, right? Now with him, like I said, I don't know, when you have in your stage 4 kidney cancer, kidneys are down low in your gut. It's going to make everything really, really, really hard for him to live, you know, and he's already so overweight. You know, he's not going to have very little energy to live anyway. So you don't want to be so overweight that you can't do anything fun. You know, probably in his mind, his marriage is so bad, he spends any little free time he has, he spends driving back and forth to work to deal with something at home. Overeating junk food, it's a way to cope. And I think if you just look around the world the way people are, especially in the United States, the junk food and the extreme amounts of big people without any, that are very flabby and weak, is because their lives are totally, totally messed up. It really isn't because we're all gluttons and can't stop eating. It's because our lives are so terrible. It's like, what is the real use in being in shape. My life is such a stupid mess. Why would I want to? I have to cope, right? I don't have enough money to do anything I want to do. I'm going to overeat, right? We see this over and over and over again. It's everywhere. It's staring us in the face. But that doesn't have to be your reality, does it? That's the reality of some people. It's my friend of a friend. That's his reality. And hearing about this is just another kick in the teeth for me. I'm kind of hemming and hawing about taking a little trip. I'm saying, well, maybe I should wait, save up some more money, pay off some more debts. Well, I don't know. Why would I do that? Why don't I do it now? I have a little bit of money. I have some credit. I might as well do it now. So stay tuned. Try to figure out that trip, and report back to you on it. But yeah, it's a huge wake-up call when you hear about these stories. The cancer is coming for you when you live a terrible life. When you've done things you shouldn't have done for many, 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 many years, it will catch up to you. When you live in a poor way, in an unsatisfying way, it will catch up to you. It's caught up to him. He's got stage 4 cancer. It's a death sentence. Let's face it. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is, what do you do when you hear this kind of news, right? Tim McGraw has that fantastic song, right? Can't even remember the name, but it's so good how it hits you when you hear that kind of news. And then he talks about all the kind of the fun stuff he does. But that might be what you want to do, is do a little bit of something fun while you can. With this stage 4, what I've seen with people dying, and I've seen quite a few people die, and I've seen them, at the end stage cancer, when they're going through those extreme cancer treatments, the chemotherapy. I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend it at all. It looks like that the chemotherapy is just a way to make your extremely horrible life that you're living even worse. I saw that in my dad. So, maybe there's some value in the chemotherapy if they catch it early enough, and if you're healthy enough, if you're strong, maybe there's some value. But like my friend, he's a couple 100 pounds overweight. Maybe he could make a radical change in his life and see what happens. He's so overweight, he could easily not eat for a whole year, fast for a year, see if that helps. Nothing but black coffee, vitamin C, and other supplements. Maybe that's, if that was me, that might be one way to do it. I wouldn't go through chemotherapy. Try to have a little bit of fun. Of course, with him, maybe you just eat twice as much and drink twice as hard and ride off into the sunset. Well, that's a way too. That's a way too. I would tend not to do the chemo, though. That's for sure. Of course, I'm not a doctor. You can't hold me to all these opinions, can you? I'm just one person's opinion. But I'd be curious about your opinions on the chemotherapy, if you've known anybody who's had success with, who didn't die right away from it. It just, from what I saw, the chemotherapy is done to an extremely sick, extremely ill, extremely weak person, and it just makes them weaker and sicker and more frail. And the more frail they are, the easier it is for you to die. That's one of the reasons I like to lift weights, and one of the reasons I like to eat plenty of meat, and one of the reasons I like to get plenty of rest and lower my stress is, and be big and strong and have a lot of muscle, is so it's a little bit harder to die. That's basically it, and so, let these bad stories kind of be a wake-up call to you. I just saw a nice video from Brent Smith the other day, and Brent Smith is one of the dating gurus, one of the guys I look up to, and I like to, bought a lot of his books and listen to him and all the time. And he just had a great video the other day about don't wait. If you want to do something, don't wait. He said you may be too sick, too old, and too dead to do it. And in my friend's case, that's exactly what's happening. And he's early 50s, but he's too old. He's got stage cancer. He's too sick. And with that stage 4 cancer, he doesn't have long for this world. He's going to be too dead to do it. So I'm hoping he had some fun. I know he's had some fun because I was in and amongst some of this fun stuff. I know he's going to have some good memories from all of that. I'm hoping that at the end of his life, he can look back on some of that fun. I mean, that's the only thing a lot of us are going to have is some of our good memories, and you want to be spending the bulk of your life creating some good memories for yourself so that at the end times you can think of them. At the end times, those happy memories, those joyful memories, those memorable grand moments you've spent come flooding back to you. Now, if you don't have any memories like that, well, you better get busy now, as Brent Smith would say, doing it. And whatever type of memories you want to create, you better get busy. I know what kind of memories I love the most, so I like to work on those kind of things that are going to create the best memories for me. You have to decide what you want to do the most and do that. For example, if you like to hunt and fish, well, you better be hunting and fishing. If you like to go to the beach, you better go to the beach. If you like the mountains, go to the mountains. If you like the cities, go to the city. If you like to have sex with women, you better do that, right? If you like taking care of your children and having a good time with them and ensuring that what they're doing is right, you better do that. If you like your career and feel you're contributing to a better world, well, do that. Do all those things. Make it yours. The death is coming for you. It's coming for another friend of mine. I hope he's got some good, comfortable memories to fall back on, because the end of times, when you've got stage 4 cancer, it's going to be gosh darn hard. And you know what kind of hardness there is. There's going to be tons of pain. And I hope he's got enough memories to sustain him. All for now.